From a 17-year-old girl who had never thought of modeling to inventing the most graceful runway walk of all time, this is the story of Shalom Harlow. Shalom Harlow was born in Canada. In her teen years, she was interested in arts and crafts, and she even trained as a ballet dancer. She came into the modeling industry purely by chance. In fact, Shalom wasn't interested in the glitz and glamour of the modeling industry and considered herself a tomboy. She was scouted at the Cure concert in Toronto, a tour when fans dressed expressively in goth or alternative fashion, which explains why 17-year-old Shalom's unique beauty was noticed.
In Toronto at a concert, The Cure, and a talent scout approached me and asked me if I was a model or if I was interested in it. And I didn't take it seriously at first. I thought it was like one of those, come on baby, I'll take you back to my place and make you famous, you know?
When the modeling scout approached her, she dismissed him as an older creep trying to hit on a teenager. But this scout explained that he's interested in her striking, unconventional beauty for modeling purposes. Shalom took the chance, and her road towards becoming the most iconic model of all time began. Now, of course, she did not become a supermodel overnight. Like every other new face in the industry, she took on small modeling jobs to build her portfolio. During this phase, she refined her posing techniques and runway walk. Remember that at this time, she's still a 17-year-old, juggling between school and a modeling career. She still hadn't made up her mind completely about modeling. But this didn't last long, and once she committed, things started moving pretty quickly. Her first major breakthrough was when renowned fashion photographer Steven Meisel took notice of her. And when Meisel believed in you, the rest of the world followed. This single shoot landed her in one of the biggest fashion magazines in the world, Vogue. Her natural elegance, quiet confidence, and effortless coolness cemented her place as the next big thing. She would go on to become one of Meisel's muses for other big shoots. Meisel's approval was like a golden ticket. She was getting attention from designers, casting directors, and magazine editors. She became part of an elite group of models who worked with the industry giants. Just 2 years into her modeling career, Shalom was working with big brands like Versace, Chanel, and Valentino. Vogue and Harper's Bazaar also wanted in on the action.
Would a model by any other name still be as sweet? Shalom's peaceful center is grounded in her very name.
Shalom made her debut on the runway in 1993, and to this day, her walk remains one of the most elegant and effortless. In fact, she didn't just walk the runway, she floated. The hip swing was smooth and hypnotic. The posture was something out of this world, with the shoulders slouched for a dramatic appeal. Her arms swang in a dance-like movement. Her face was soft and dreamy. She was completely in sync with her body, outfit, and the energy in the room. She made it look easy. But Shalom didn't just wake up one day with that effortless runway walk. At first, it was more of a cool girl figuring it out than a graceful swan gliding down the runway. Her background in ballet came in handy, allowing her to have a relaxed posture and setting her apart from the robotic runway walks of the 90s. Shalom's first major runway was Versace. And here's the thing, Shalom didn't fit the profile for Versace runaways. You see, Versace was known for working with power-stunting divas like Naomi Campbell. And here was Shalom, always looking like she just wandered into a fashion show by chance and decided to slay. But by 1995, Shalom had perfected her walk and went on to become one of the faces of the brand, alongside big names like Kate Moss, Carla Brune, and Christy Turlington. Next came Prada, and she was just the right person for the job. Prada favored models who looked like they weren't too hard. Miuccia Prada didn't like the over-the-top sexual appeal that other brands went for. Prada wanted versatility, timelessness, and mystery. And Shalom? She was perfect. She didn't just wear Prada, she was Prada herself. John Galliano was not left behind. If you have heard of John Galliano, you know it wasn't just fashion, it was art. The theme for his runways was high fashion storytelling, and Shalom took this and ran with it. In the process, she became a muse and character all at once. Shalom could sell fantasy effortlessly, and that helped bring Galliano's dramatic vision to life. Throughout the mid-90s, Shalom was gracing the covers of big magazines like LA, Vogue, and Harper's Bazaar, cementing her place as a supermodel. In 1999, Shalom collaborated with Alexander McQueen for one of the most iconic moments in history. She had been in countless campaigns, walked for every major design in the industry, and graced the covers of major magazines. But nothing came close to the Alexander McQueen 1999 show. It was a time when the supermodel era of the 90s was ending and the experimental side of fashion was taking over. In this performance, Shalom had no idea of what was about to happen. She had just been told to put on her white dress and step onto a rotating platform. Upon standing on it, two robotic arms moved closer and began to spray paint her in black and neon yellow paint. She immediately reacted by lifting her arms and turning around, making herself the centerpiece of a masterpiece. McQueen became a legendary visionary, and at this historic moment, Shalom stopped being just a supermodel. She was a legend. Shalom also took on a TV host job at MTV alongside 90s model and friend Amber Valletta. The TV show covered runway shows, backstage chaos, and celebrity interviews. The duo was fun, goofy, and totally relatable, making the show a major hit.
Model with legs that were probably at least 6 inches taller than my entire body height. Funnily enough, when I look at Carly Kloss on the runway now, I'm reminded of Shalom, a tall girl with a very balletic grace.
The show was later canceled when Shalom and Amber left. At this point, it's like she had reached the peak of her career. So why try to top that? So in the early 2000s, she made a few runway appearances, but eventually redirected her focus from high fashion modeling. She took on acting and other creative projects. The 2003 rom-com classic, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, was a major hit from her short-lived Hollywood era. This wasn't her first rodeo. She had already featured in other films such as In and Out in 1997 and Head Over Heels, which came out in 2001. Although she didn't become a Hollywood A-lister, she still left her mark in the industry. In the mid-2000s, it looked like Shalom Harlow had retired voluntarily from the spotlight. But perhaps the retirement from the spotlight wasn't voluntary. After working so hard for so many years without a break, her physical and mental well-being had taken a hit. In 2013, word spread around that the model was bedridden as a result of late-stage Lyme disease and severe black mold poisoning that she contracted from an apartment she was staying at in California. Lyme disease can be extremely stressful, causing symptoms such as joint pains, severe inflammation, chronic fatigue, and neurological issues. During that time, Shalom focused on wellness and completely disappeared from the public light. In an interview, she admitted to having suffered from PTSD from all the infections that had been caused by the disease. The good news is, Shalom made the ultimate comeback into the industry after her recovery. In 2018, Shalom was a part of Versace's fall-winter campaign, together with her old gang of the 90s, Naomi Campbell and Christy Turlington. This reunion gave Runway royalty vibes, and decades later, they still stole the spotlight. She also graced the Balenciaga runway in 2022. This beauty is just proof that supermodels don't age, they become more legendary. In recent years, Shalom has become very vocal about wellness, environmental awareness, and chronic illnesses. She's an advocate for clean living and self-care. She used the years away from the spotlight researching alternative healing, spirituality, and wellness. And although Shalom didn't pursue higher education, she has always been an intellectual person. She is also vocal about the modeling industry. Shalom is not happy about how the concept of modeling has been watered down by the internet. Instagram model? Not on Shalom watch. She has also been vocal on the need to humanize models and not perceive them as perfect humans.
That we're flawed individuals as well, and that we're perfectly imperfect, and all women are, and if they could know our own vulnerabilities with our bodies, it's a shared commonality.
Generally, in an era where supermodels were making headlines every week, Shalom was living a quiet life. She continued pursuing her love for music and dancing. In an interview, Shalom revealed that she loved playing the percussion because it was a whole-body exercise involving even the mind. Perhaps the most controversy that ever came out of her career was when she decided to take a break from modeling after her monumental Alexander McQueen show of 1999. Many people found it odd for her to quit at the height of her fame. Shalom Harlow's story is that of balance. A woman who had a meteoric rise to success, faced real struggles, stepped back, reinvented herself, and came back even more legendary. Her name will live on, the model who turned runway into art. Subscribe for more videos and see you on the next one.